The email arrived at exactly 9:47 a.m. Atkinson Global considering termination of contract. I stared at my phone screen, a small smile playing at my lips. Right on schedule. I'm Rebecca Taylor, former COO of Taylor Industries, the company my parents built from nothing into a $100 million business, until 3 months ago when they decided I was too soft to lead it. The business world isn't about making friends, Rebecca. Dad had lectured during that final board meeting. It's about profits, results. You're too focused on employee satisfaction and work-life balance. Your father's right, Mom added, not meeting my highs. The board agrees. We need someone tougher. That someone tougher was Marcus Sterling, brought in from a rival firm known for aggressive cost-cutting and mass layoffs. My replacement. The ruthless leader Taylor Industries supposedly needed. They'd expected me to fight back, to cause a scene, to beg for another chance. Instead, I'd smiled, stood up, and handed them my resignation letter. You're making a mistake, I said quietly, but it's yours to make. Now, watching their biggest client threaten to walk away, I knew exactly how this would play out, because I planned it, every step. But let me back up. Tell you how we got here. Taylor Industries specialized in supply chain management, not glamorous, but essential. Dad started the company 30 years ago in our garage, tracking shipments on a whiteboard. Mom handled the books while raising me and teaching me the business. I grew up watching them build something amazing, but I also saw the human cost. The missed family dinners, the stressed employees, the burnout. When I joined the company after my MBA, I had ideas, ways to modernize, to make the workplace more sustainable. Dad humored me at first, letting me implement small changes, flexible schedules, better benefits, employee wellness programs. And it worked. Productivity increased. Turnover dropped. Our reputation grew as an employer of choice. But Dad and Mom couldn't see past the cost columns in their spreadsheets. 6 figures on employee wellness programs, Dad would rage. In my day, people were grateful just to have a job. The real breaking point came last year. I developed a new client management system, one that prioritized long-term relationships over short-term profits. It meant sometimes absorbing costs to help clients through rough patches. You're coddling them, Mom argued. Business isn't about being nice. But I saw the bigger picture. Happy employees meant better service. Better service meant loyal clients. Loyal clients meant sustainable growth. For a while, the results spoke for themselves. Our client retention rate hit 98%. Employee satisfaction scores soared. Profits were steady, if not explosive. Then came the recession. Markets tightened. Shareholders got nervous. That's when my parents showed their true colors. The board has concerns, Dad announced one morning, about your leadership style. I looked around the boardroom. Faces I'd known for years avoided my gaze. People who'd praised my innovations now studied their papers intently. What concerns? You're too emotional, Mom said. Too invested in people's personal lives. A real leader needs distance. Objectivity. Objectivity? I couldn't help laughing. You mean like ignoring when our employees are burning out? Like treating clients as numbers instead of partners. The shareholders want aggressive growth. Dad cut in. Cost cutting. Streamlining. You mean layoffs? He didn't deny it. That's when they introduced Marcus Sterling. He sat there smirking as they praised his decisive leadership style and commitment to shareholder value. I'd done my research on Sterling. His last company had shed 40% of its workforce while posting record executive bonuses. He'd gutted pension plans, slashed benefits, and driven multiple small suppliers into bankruptcy through predatory contracts. This is who you want running our company? I asked quietly. The company you built on relationships and trust? Times change, Dad replied. We need to adapt. I looked at Mom, remembering how she used to bake cookies for the office, knew every employee's kids' names. Now she sat there in her designer suit, platinum jewelry glinting, as they prepared to destroy everything we built. Fine, I said, pulling out the resignation letter I prepared weeks ago. I'd seen this coming, had time to plan. I quit. Don't be dramatic, Mom scoffed. You can stay on as a consultant, work under Marcus. No, thank you. I stood up. I'll find my own way. With what experience? Dad demanded. Everything you know, you learned here. I smiled, gathering my things. We'll see. They didn't know about the consulting firm I'd been quietly building, about the connections I'd made, about the loyal employees who'd already jumped ship to join me. Most importantly, they didn't know about my meetings with Robert Atkinson. Atkinson Global was our biggest client, accounting for 30% of revenues. But they were more than that. Robert Atkinson had been Dad's first major client, had stuck with us through tough times. His company's growth had fueled ours. And he'd seen exactly what was happening at Taylor Industries. 2 weeks before my forced resignation, we'd had lunch. "Your parents are making a mistake," he said bluntly. "Your employee-first approach is why we've stayed with Taylor Industries. We trust your people because they're happy, stable, and vested in our success." I nodded, sipping my water. "They've hired Marcus Sterling to replace me." Robert's face darkened. "Sterling? The hatchet man. Rebecca, you need to know something. Sterling's last company handled our West Coast operations. After his streamlining, their service fell apart. We pulled our business. Cost them millions." "Interesting." I pulled out a folder. "I have a proposal for you." Now, 3 months later, the pieces were falling into place. Sterling had done exactly what I'd expected. Canceled the wellness programs, imposed strict monitoring systems, announced workforce optimization plans. Productivity plummeted. Key employees resigned. Service quality suffered. And right on schedule, Atkinson Global was threatening to walk. My phone buzzed. Dad calling. I let it go to voicemail. He'd figure it out soon enough. They all would. Because sometimes the best revenge isn't about destroying your enemies. It's about building something better from the ashes of their mistakes. And I was just getting started. The lobby of Atkinson Global's headquarters still felt familiar. For 10 years, I'd visited this building as COO of Taylor Industries. Now I walked in as CEO of my own company, Balanced Solutions Consulting. "Miss Taylor." Robert Atkinson's assistant smiled warmly. "They're waiting for you in the main conference room." They, not just Robert then. Interesting. I smoothed my blazer and checked my portfolio one last time. Inside were proposals, projections, and most importantly, signed contracts from 15 former Taylor Industries employees, all top performers who'd left after Sterling's reforms. The conference room door opened to reveal quite a scene. Robert Atkinson sat at the head of the table, looking grave. To his right was Marcus Sterling, face flushed with barely contained anger. And at the far end, my parents, both trying to hide their shock at seeing me. "Rebecca." Dad started to stand. "What are you?" "Please," Robert cut him off. "Let's begin. Miss Taylor is here at my invitation." I took my seat, noting how Sterling's eyes narrowed at the respect in Robert's tone. "As you know," Robert continued, "Atkinson Global has been concerned about recent changes at Taylor Industries. Service delays, communication issues, high turnover in key positions. Standard optimization challenges," Sterling interjected smoothly. "All part of our efficiency improvements." "Efficiency." Robert's voice hardened. "Let me be clear. In the past 3 months, we experienced more disruptions than in the previous 10 years combined. Your optimization has cost us millions in delayed shipments and lost productivity." Mom shifted uncomfortably. "Robert, if you'll just give us time to." "Time isn't the issue, Margaret." He turned to me. "Rebecca, would you share your analysis?" I opened my portfolio. In the past quarter, Taylor Industries has lost 27% of its senior staff. Average employee tenure has dropped from 8 years to under 3. Client satisfaction scores have fallen from 92% to 61%. Sterling leaned forward. "Those are confidential internal metrics. How did you?" "Your former employees were happy to share data," I replied calmly, "especially after you eliminated their promised retirement benefits." Dad's face reddened. "You've been poaching our people." "They came to me. All I did was offer what you took away. Respect, stability, fair compensation." "And now," Robert added, "Miss Taylor's firm will be taking over Atkinson Global's supply chain management, effective immediately." The silence was deafening. Sterling recovered first. "You can't do that. Our contract has a performance clause," Robert finished, "which you've thoroughly violated. The termination papers were delivered this morning." Mom's hands trembled as she reached for her water glass. "Robert, please. We've been friends for 30 years. "Yes, we have." His voice softened slightly. "Which is why I tried to warn you. When you forced Rebecca out, I told you it was a mistake. Your company's strength wasn't just its systems, it was its people, the culture she built. Culture doesn't pay dividends, Sterling snapped. No? I pulled out another document. These are the financial projections Taylor Industries submitted to shareholders 3 months ago, promising 40% growth through aggressive optimization. Next came more papers, and these are your actual numbers. Revenue down 23%. Client attrition at record highs. 3 class action lawsuits from terminated employees. Dad stared at the figures, face ashen. How did you get these? Your new CFO, the one who replaced Maria after Sterling cut her salary? He's working for me now, along with your top project managers, system architects, and client service leads. You planned this, Mom whispered. All of it. No, Mom. You planned it. The moment you decided that profits mattered more than people. The moment you forgot what actually built this company. I stood up, straightening my papers. Balanced Solutions launches next week. We've already signed contracts with 12 former Taylor Industries clients, not just Atkinson Global. You'll destroy us, Sterling muttered. No, you did that yourselves. I'm just offering people a better option. Robert rose. I think we're done here. Rebecca, shall we discuss transition plans in my office? At the door, I turned back one last time. Mom and Dad sat frozen while Sterling frantically typed on his phone, probably calling his lawyer. You know what the real irony is? I said quietly. My way would have made you more money. Happy employees, loyal clients, sustainable growth. But you couldn't see past next quarter's numbers. 1 year later, I stood in the lobby of Balanced Solutions' new headquarters, watching our latest employee orientation group tour the facilities. We've grown faster than even I expected. It turned out lots of companies wanted a supply chain partner that valued relationships over razor-thin margins, that invested in people instead of just extracting value from them. Taylor Industries survived barely. Sterling was fired after 6 months. They downsized to a fraction of their former size, focusing on small local contracts. Sometimes I saw their trucks around town, the faded logo a reminder of what happens when you forget your foundations. Mom called last week. First time in months. The new office looks nice, she said awkwardly. I saw it in the business journal, that article about fastest growing companies. Thanks, I waited. Your father, he won't admit it, but he knows. We both do. We were wrong. Yes, you were. Could we, maybe have lunch sometime? Talk about things. I thought about it, about years of lessons learned watching them build a company, about what they taught me, both good and bad. Lunch would be nice, I said finally. I know a place. They treat their staff well. Food's amazing. She got the message. I'd like that. Yesterday during our quarterly town hall, an employee asked why our logo features a balanced scale. Because business isn't just about numbers, I explained. It's about equilibrium, between profit and purpose, between growth and sustainability, between success and soul. My parents taught me that, though not in the way they intended. Now I run the kind of company I always knew was possible, where wellness programs aren't expenses but investments, where client relationships are partnerships, not transactions, where success is measured in more than just dollars. The irony? We're more profitable than Taylor Industries ever was, because it turns out compassion isn't weakness. It's the strongest foundation you can build on. Sometimes the best revenge isn't about proving them wrong. It's about proving yourself right, and building something so successful, so meaningful, that it transforms defeat into destiny. That's not just good business. It's perfect justice.